I have this because this reminds me of this is who we are. This is who we are. And then under a lot of pressure, heat, pain, so much, it turns to this beautiful crystal. And the only way to turn to that, to really transform to that.
وقتی بکشیم دیگه تنها راهش همینه. ببخشید میشه یه چیزی اضافه کنم؟
100%. مرسی. اینو نگاه کنین. این چقدر قشنگه.
من همیشه اینو با دوستام همیشه با
یه مامان از این بر
من اسمم عزیز است. من آندرگرادم کمیستری بوده. بعد با دوستام همیشه صحبت میکنیم راجع به مشکلاتی که هست. من همیشه میگم داریم یواش یواش تبدیل میشیم به دایموند، به خاطر اینکه کربن و همین کانفیگوریشنش که عوض کنی، خیلی فشارش بدی، همون کربنی که دوده که همه باید تمیزش میکنن، اون میتونه تبدیل بشه به گرونترین و سخت‌ترین. فقط تنها تریکش اینه که نباید بشکنی. یعنی چی؟ یعنی که ولیوهاتو نباید از دست بدی و چیز فیت داشته باشی. فیت یعنی چی؟ یعنی هر وقت اتفاقی میافتی بگی که خب من میدونم آخرش خوب میشه. ولی بالاخره این شکلی میتونی ادامه بدی. خب این داستان همین شما.
مرسی، خیلی ممنون. و این من I have that in front of me توی سر کارم. I always look at it because it's a reminder for me that it's a little pain and it's a little upset, but it's all little and I can actually make things better. So برمیگردم به childhood trauma. The childhood trauma is actually the root of all the problems. Now, how do we go through this Phoenix process? There's 6 steps that, Alex, you wanna? Yeah, I have a sheet there. In Alex, he helped me so much. He put all of these together. Thank you so much. I acknowledge you for all your hard work. Thank you. There's 6 steps to it. The step 1 is you admit that you're upset. No hiding, no lying, that I am upset. This thing that is happening is not working for me. I am upset. And it's so interesting because we gotta say, you know what? It doesn't matter. Oh, I'll forgive it. And you don't admit to the first part because you can stop and say, you know what, I'm upset. And second step is, it's all about me. It's all about me. And you don't want to accept it because you could say, wait a minute, this contractor that who said is going to cost me this much is adding $50,000 to it, and it was his mistake. Of course it's about him. Not so. It's still about me because I choose my feeling. I choose my feeling. That doesn't mean that we don't stop people for being unfair. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But you're upset. You're upset and you're angry and you're raged. Is not because of what's happening out there. It's always is what's happening inside of here. I choose that. So the third step is we focus on the feeling. Okay, how did I feel? این احساس قدیمیه. این احساس الان نیستش. یه جای دیگه من احساسش کردم. این اولین باری نیستش که من ناراحتم. و این ناراحتی شبیه، خیلی شبیه به اون یکی، به اون یکی، اون یکی. بعد پیداش میکنین که اولین باری که you experience that is way older than that. میبینین شاید 3 سالته، شاید 4 سالته. And something happened. And این مال اونجاه. So nothing is outside of us. Bless. So this feeling is familiar. So, and then number 5 is, at that moment that thing happened, what did I say about myself? What did I say about myself? Did I say I'm worthless because I'm helpless and I cannot help it? I can't fix anything? There are few beliefs. Actually تعدادش زیاد نیستش. یه چند تا دونه است فقط. Either I'm not enough, I'm worthless, I'm helpless. زیاد نیست تعدادش. There is a belief. There is a belief. We said something about ourselves. And then the last one is to embrace the truth, whatever the truth is. Is that really you are the problem? Are you really worthless? Are you really helpless? Maybe that 2-year-old or 3-year-old who needed mom and dad was helpless. But look at you, you're a 56-year-old woman. So when I looked at it, I said to myself, my beautiful friend went out with Nasser, so what, for God's sake? So I was mad and angry and all of that, and then, but the feeling was so familiar. So familiar, it's not here. I feel abandoned. That's how it triggered that belief. It triggered that notion that, you know, I'm worthless and no one cares and no one wants me and there is no love. That's the feeling that is created when I was 2 or 3. So that's my Phoenix process. And Alex, do you want to play? There's the little 10 minutes movie that I thought is really, really relevant. And I want to talk to you actually about few other things. I brought you some package inserts. And the reason for that is because I find it so interesting. This is one of the drugs that we do give to the heroin addicts. It's called Subutex. It's called Subutex, and Subutex, I mean, God knows how many times they called me and they pulled me to work because they were out of Subutex, and it was so essential these heroin addicts get it. And it's so interesting because I was reading it for Alex this morning and I said, look at that. It says the clinical trial, here's the clinical studies. They look at the safety and efficacy of the Subutex in compared to placebo. And what they found, it's a little better than placebo. What? Are you telling me if you give me a sugar pill, it'll take care of me? They give this sugar pill to people and their glucose level went down. How did this happen? My question is, how did this happen? And we all focus because it's a drug company wanted to push the drugs. And I understand that. It's a business. So they have to. And the only reason I find it okay to work in this institution is like, maybe when we give them this drug, it makes them feel good. And that's good enough. If they come in and I give you this sugar pill and you feel good, دقیقاً. یعنی اینجوری من برای خودم completely justifyش کردم که you know what, they look better. این پسر 18 ساله که اومده با heroin addiction. And you look at this boy, oh, you would love him. And he looks so much better after 3 weeks. And it makes me so happy with this sugar pill that he thinks is helping him. It is helping him, okay? Go for it, why not? Yet there is a better way. So I honestly believe, things can get better, number one. We can actually find the healing inside of us. And what I found is doing a meditation, more than any ADD medication, it helped me to focus. Sometimes I meditate twice, sometimes I meditate 3 times. And همون کاریه که مامان من نماز میخونه و با اون میتونه اون مدیتیشن رو انجام بده. That's perfect, good for you. I've never done it. I found, you know, there's so many things مامان میگه به من and I'm like, oh, baba. And then یه چرخی میزنم میگم, oh my God, what you said was valuable. I never thought that. So اینم از اوناست چون مامان خیلی یکی از ادوکیت‌های من بود که stay home with your kids. 0 to 7 is important. Mom, you don't know. And then چند سال بگذره مریم میرسی به اینجا که that is so important. Fast forward it. یعنی الان شما نگاه کن با چیزی که شما شیر کردین راجع به پسرتون که فکر میکنه ADD داره. When you had the cortisone in your body already
های when I was وقتی که حامله بودم خیلی، الان که شما داشتین میگفتین خیلی زیاد بود. محل کارم رو دوست نداشتم، زیاد توش سیگار کشیده میشد، این منو خیلی عصبانی میکرد.
بیشتر از سیگاره اون عصبانی شدن
آره.
شماست با خودتون.
خیلی از محیط کارم عصبانی بودم، از مدیریت، از همه چی این عصبانیت ها زیاد بود. ضمن اینکه کمخونی شدید داشتم، ضعف جسمانی شدید داشتم، همه اینا بسیار خلقم رو تنگ میکرد، نگرانم میکرد که حالا من این هوای آلوده تهران، این سیگارا هست، این ساعت کاریه که دلم نمیخواد تو این
اصلا نمیخوام اینجا باشم، میخوام خونه باشم.
آره،
با بچم.
تمام اینا رو که الان شما
و نگاه کن فست فورواردش بکنین 20 سال بعد بچه شما میاد میگه you know what I think I have ADD. The ADD is not, it's a compensation for the checking out from the environment because the environment is not something you like. It's something in the environment, it doesn't work for you. So you check out. That's actually, and اگه نگاه کنین به کلمه depression, it's depressing something. What are we depressing? We're depressing the self-expression. اون چیزی که چون it's not gonna work. I mean, my mom.
Is there any reason you have that sequence,
آره.
ADD, addiction, depression, anxiety? Can you tell me what is the
آره.
reason that you...
آره.
چرا دارم پرسم؟
Very good question.
چرا اینا رو به این ترتیب
Very smart.
نوشتی در
Yeah.
داشتی؟
The reason I did it, first of all, I really believe people who go with the ADD and they go on drugs, especially when they're younger, you're going to be dealing with addiction later in life. And addiction of drugs, specifically drugs. People with ADD or ADHD goes to an addiction. And look at the words حتی. خب I experienced that myself with the ADD addiction. I always have addiction to food. And I didn't dare to even, try different things. I promise you if I was a boy, I would have tried alcohol, weed, anything, you name it. The only thing I went for was food. I'm telling you, sometimes I eat ice cream and the mouth is numb. But this is a hungry ghost. I'm not satisfied. I want more. And what is that if it's not an addiction? And then I start treating my addiction with drugs. And then I went deep in depression. And I can't even, it's so dark. Afsane midune. Sometimes she calls me like 3 or 4 times, 3 weeks, like, oh God, she disappeared again. Because I go to this, این مثل یه سیاه چاله برا من. میافتم تو اون سیاه چاله و نمیتونم بیام بیرون. میگه زنگ بزن، میگم you don't get it. من تو سیاه چالم نمیتونم حتی بیام بیرون. I don't want to answer anybody. And feel it with all the cells of my body. And God knows life goes for me. I have my 2 beautiful boys. I have an awesome job. I have everything going for me. So what is this depression? Doesn't make any sense.
این بچه‌ها اگه ازدواج کنن 2 تا بچه بیارن برای شما از اون چاله میان بیرون
میافتن تو یه چاله دیگه.
میان بیرون میافتن تو چاه.
از چاله میان بیرون از تو چاله.
نه اینو اشتباه نکنن. نوه هم میگن شیرین تر از بچه هاست.
درسته.
اینقدر باعث سرگرمی شما میشه.
Is that true?
It's true.
اصلا شما کیف میکنی با اونا. واقعا از اون چاله‌ای
که شما میگین میان بیرون. یه مسئله دیگه که من میخوام به خانم ها بیشتر بگم نترسیدنه. کسانی میترسن که مریض هم زودتر میشن. یک خانم سرطانی بود در آمریکا حدود 15-16 سال قبل، دکترها جوابش کردن. یهو این خانم رفت و بعد چند وقت اومد سالم و خوب. بهش گفتن راز تو چی بود؟ گفت من از اینجا که رفتم گفتم من بترسم از سرطان. رفت مبارزه کرد، رفت مسافرت، داستانهای شیرین، چیزهای غم‌انگیز رو اصلا پاش نشست. اینه که سفارش من به شما اینه که نترسین از هیچی، شادی رو فراموش نکنین. خنده کند زیبا، هر شکل و شمایل را از تن برون آرد، هم قصه و هم غم را. یادتون نره حتی تو ماشین هم هستین با خودتون بلند بلند آواز بخونین بخندین.
So question and answers. اول question and answer بعد
این فارسی هم بلده دیگه مجبوره.
The anxiety is when we see uncertainty. Any time that we go out of our comfort zone, whatever that comfort zone is. You know, the comfort zone is I know this way, so if I change it, if the comfort zone is whenever, and it's part of that. The anxiety, I experience it here, and here, always, because I'm worried about my kids are home, they're enjoying themselves. I'm worried that they're bored. And I'm like, what is this? I mean, ask yourself, the mind is controlling everything. It's even telling me that they have nothing to do and I'm worried. I send my mom a message. I love that clip, by the way, Mom. I send the mom message, Mom, Neil is alone at home. چی گفتم مامان بگو.
I know. داری میگی بگو.
Mom, Neil is home alone and I'm worried he's alone and he's bored. Can you just go there? She goes, okay, I'll go and check on a 17-year-old who can handle all of us to see how it's. Other than the addiction to this anxiety or addiction to the basically that نگرانی که گفتیم غیر از این نیست و getting out of your comfort zone, you know, it creates anxiety around it. چون uncertainty, we have a hard time being with uncertainty. That's why we don't take risk. That's why we don't create the business that we know is good. We don't even. I asked مریم بیا حرف بزنیم جلوی یوتیوب درست کنیم. گفتش که oh no. Now, why do you think that is, مریم؟
حالا جلوی همه داریم
نه الان توی همین دوربین هم نمیخوام باشم. البته
نمیخواد تو دوربین.
به خاطر اینکه ما ایرانی هستیم، بعد هر چی که میگیم باید خیلی مواظب باشیم. تو ایران گوش میکنن، بعد فردا میان دنبالمون یه چیزی بگیم که نباید بگیم.
نه همینجا مردم جاج میکنن.
نه حالا جاجش رو ببینید، جون آدم در خطره.
نه
تو ایران
بعدی نمیخوایم بگیم.
نه منظور یه چیزی بگی یه ذره به سیاسی باشه.
نه الان که مطالب پزشکی
خجالت میکشیم.
مثلا شما فکر کنید رقص چیز بدیه. مثلا من دوست دارم برم برقصم، برم مثلا معلم رقص بشم. بعدش هم دوست دارم ویدیوشو درست کنم. فکر کنید دفعه بعد که برم ایران کجا میرم احتمالاً
بیشتر دعوتتون میکنم میگم به اونام یاد بدید.
من فکر میکنم شاید
یعنی من اگه
کمبود
ویدیو رقص درست
اعتماد
کنم
به نفسم
از
باور
جنریشن
نداشتن
آنچنان
خودم.
عوض شده.
It is being afraid of. بفرمایید.
ما یک زمانی چون من کارم ورزش بود
پی آدمای قد بلند میگشتیم برای تیم‌های والیبال، بسکتبال و اینا. اصلا همچین چیزی پیدا نمی‌کردیم. بعد من 13 سال قبل رفتم ایران، البته بعداً هم رفتم. تو خیابون که راه میرفتم به مناسبت شغلم اینقدر دخترها خوش هیکل و قد بلند شدن، حتی اسامی بچه هاشون رو هم دیگه اسامی قدیمی نمیذارن، همه اسامی جدید بچه هاشون رو کلاس رقص، کلاس های موسیقی میذارن. بنابراین اون جنریشنی که در زمان ما بود، تازه من پدرم هم ورزشکار بود و خودم هم کارشناس ورزش دانشگاه تهران بودم، ما زیاد چیز هم در هر جا
آدما رو نمیگم، گاورمنت رو میگم.
باور کنی خود گاورمنت هم در پشت پرده هم میرقصن همه چی هم میخورن.
خب ایران همه که پشت پرده همیشه همه کار کردن.
حالا در جنریشن جدید ایران پسر و دختر خوشگل شدن اصلا.
بله.
ممنونم. حالا اگر در مورد ورزش هم چیزی خواستین من بعدا خواهم بهتون.
مرسی.
ما هم به سن خودمون که بودیم بزرگترامون همین نظر رو در مورد ما داشتن.
یعنی میخوای بگی
وقتی که من و شما مثلا
حسین آقا از تو یعنی سنش بیشتره؟
که در بزرگامون ما رو همینطوری نگاه میکردن. چقدر این دست قشنگ
شده دیگه. خانم مریم خانم میگم در تهران اصلا لباسا رو محدود کردن، اما خانوما رفتن شیک ترین لباس، یعنی آنچنان شیک میاد
تو یوتیوب
خیلی
اینفورمیشن رو باید یه
خیابونا
مقدار درست
راه
باشه.
میرن.
رایت
من یه بار
اینفورمیشن
اینم بگم برای
چون وقتی
خنده.
نگاه میکنه آدم میبینه که
خیلی بده.
خیلی بده، یعنی اینکه اینفورمیشن های درست نیست. من اگه خب من به یکی دیگر رو دارم اینفورمیشن غلط میشه.
من میخوام بدونم که کجاست اون جایی که اون بیلیف استاپ میکنه ما رو از یه حرکت.
ندانستن فکر کنم. باید ما اینقدر خوب بدونیم.
دیپتر از
شیم. خب من به نظر من باید اینقدر من خوب بدونم چیز درست رو بذارم.
نه.
بعدم میشناسه
آفرین. شیمه. It's shame. I am so afraid.
ممکنه یکیشین باشه. ممکنه یکیشین باشه.
Huge. اینه.
ممکنه ولی خیلی چیزایی دیدم.
شما توی قسمت فاضلت
مهدی بزنید. راجع به ادیکشن. What do you think of addiction?
نه نمیاد
دیگه نمیاد.
نه ادیکشن فقط به دارو نیست، به خیلی چیزا میتونه و درسا میتونه باشه. من تازگی یه ادیکشن خودم پیدا کردم.
What's your addiction?
من به الورا ادیکشن پیدا کردم. داشتم به جان تازگی ها خارش گرفته بدنم، نمیدونم چی هست و هر 2 ساعت 3 ساعت یه بار باید برم این الورا رو بکنم و بزنم به تنم که این خارش های روی دستم و اینا از بین بره. داشتم به پسرم میگفتم پیروز تو ماشین، گفتم من فکر کنم به الورا ادیکشن.
It's possible and it keep changing. میدونین؟ It keep changing. چون اون چیزی رو که we start with بعضی وقتا هی مجبورین عوضش بکنین. من ادیکشن اولم خیلی فود بود، خیلی فود. و بعد از اینکه عمل کردم دیگه نمیتونم یعنی نمیتونم بخورم. It's so painful to eat. نمیتونم دیگه بخورم. حالا ادیکشن بعدی که واسه خودم درست کردم listening to these YouTubes and اگه از الکس بپرسین میگه oh my god، با وجود اینکه خود الکس دوست داره اینو، میگه this is just crazy. At night, in the morning, in a car. حتی وقتی میخوام دوش بگیرم I have to listen to this. This is not addiction. What is it? It is.
It is.
100%. و اولین چیزی که برای فینیکس پروسس من خیلی اینو دوست دارم. چون I believe that can actually get us to the authentic selves. واقعا اینو دوست دارم چون فکر میکنم که once we let ourselves actually get burned 95% that it is dead wood, we burn it, but 5% that is left is authentic you, that you're not afraid, that you can actually speak up. نه اینکه خودتون رو هایت کنین، نه اینکه بترسی از این. But comparing, one thing I learned from Jordan Peterson that I love, he says, always compare yourself with who you were yesterday. Just with yourself, who you were yesterday. Compare yourself with that. Don't compare yourself with somebody else's tomorrow or today because you don't know their journey. But just compare yourself with who you were yesterday. And همون جایی که هستی, if you make things a little better. This is when I wake up in the morning and I feel like, oh my God, I cannot deal with the day. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make things a little better. من داشتم می اومدم بعد دیدم که این بیرون برگا ریخته. بعد که اومدم گفتم make things a little better. این برگا اینجا نباشه خیلی قشنگ‌تره. I make things a little better. And جالب اینه که when you make things a little better, you look back 365 better. Just a little, all of a sudden you have a life that you don't even recognize. You go back and you say, that's not even my life anymore. You got better. And it's possible. Man, that's my message. Anyway, thank you. یه دونه 10 minutes یوتیوب خیلی قشنگه. I love it. اگه دوست دارین join us.
از ما هم خیلی ادک کنیم به یوتیوب.
آفرین. Okay, let's see.
Keep that in mind.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. That's good.
These are showing about 3 days. If you are choosing to create something new and it doesn't come to you easily at first, please do not give up, because it takes about at least 3 days for these antennae to wire. That is because the information is not in here. Just to add to this, how real this is, researchers in Silicon Valley are now building the next generation computer chips, and guess what? They're not based on silica. They're based on droplets of water that are purified and very, very specific forms of structured water. And when they started pumping the information into that droplet of water, the water droplet was holding more information that could possibly be explained by the chip itself. And they said, where's the information going? And now they know that the chip, based in water, is storing information in a field that expands beyond the machine itself.
Our identity is not inside our body. Our identity is picked up by protein antennas on the surface of our cells. The reality is our source is from the outside, and the signals get picked up by the proteins and then control the cells on the inside.
This field provides 3 functions. It is the container, the field that connects all things. It is the container for everything that happens in our experience. Nothing exists beyond this container. It's the container. It is the bridge between our inner and our outer world, and it is the mirror in our external world for what we claim to believe in our inner world. This is the field.
The body is like a television set, and there's a broadcast coming in. Mind is not even in the body. If you get your mind in the outside, there's an opportunity at a level to communicate. This is a virtual reality suit. You jump into this suit, you drive it around, the experiences of this suit are sent back to source. That's where we start to recognize your brain activity is not contained in your head. You can use magnetoencephalograph probes outside of your head, and you can read your brain activity. So you're broadcasting back to the field. And that's why we can see a sunset. We can taste that chocolate. We can smell that rose.
How many of you saw the movie The Matrix? So remember in The Matrix, when they would hook that little gadget to the back of their neck and they would download the programs and learn those things almost immediately. Remember that?
Yeah.
The equivalent of that is what we did together in here yesterday. When we choose to make those changes in our lives, we're saying you can't do it through your conscious mind. When you create the heart-brain harmony, that coherence, it's called optimum heart-brain coherence. When you've got that 0.1 hertz signal between your heart and your brain, that opens the door to the subconscious. That's the equivalent of plugging that cable in right at the base of your skull. And it's at that place where you insert the new beliefs, the new thoughts, the new ideas, the new ways of thinking. That is you downloading that new information very, very quickly.
We're not living our lives, we're living the lives of programs. And if you don't like the program, the new biology is the one that says you can rewrite it. And if you rewrite it to make your creation, not the one you bought as the creation, you will manifest heaven on earth. You will wake up every day with the glory of being in the most spectacular planet and the ability to create life.
So you know when you begin learning a foreign language, the words sometimes, they seem awkward. You learn phonetically and you say the words, but they don't really mean much. And all of a sudden you wake up one morning and like you're speaking Spanish, or you're speaking Tibetan, or you're speaking French, or whatever it is. You know how that happens. All of a sudden it's like almost overnight. You say, well what happened? Well, here's what the science is now telling us. All possibilities exist as information in the field. The information is not in the cells. What we do in the cells is we grow, and Bruce, it's exactly the term that I use, what are called soft antennae. So the way that the neurons wire and fire create the antenna that tune to the place in the field where that information lives. It is the very act, of you striving to become more in one moment than you were in the last moment. It's the act of you reaching deep within yourself to grasp a new way of thinking. So a new language, or a new song on a guitar, a piano, or a new book to write, or a new title, or new poetry, or new sculpture, new art, whatever it is, that act is the impetus for the neurons to wire together to create the antenna that reach into the field where that information lives that you are asking to have access to. But the thing is, it doesn't happen spontaneously. It takes about 72 hours, is what the studies are showing. About 3 days. So it takes about 3 days for these neurons to hook up, to reach out and firmly establish the connection with another like neuron so that they're forming the antenna that tune to the place in the field where everything that you desire to understand or know or create or perform, it already exists. If you are choosing to create something new and it doesn't come to you easily at first, please do not give up, because it takes about at least 3 days for these antennae to wire. That is because the information is not in here. It is in the field, and that could not happen if these ideas were not correct. So I'm showing you it's going beyond theory.
We have to recognize something very important, and that is only 5% of the day are you operating from your conscious creative mind. And 95% of the day you're operating from subconscious programs. But then I said, well, what would happen if you stopped playing the program? And the answer is so wonderful, because all of you have taken that red pill at some point. And that was when you fell deeply in love with somebody. I said, what was happening when you fell deeply in love? And I say, for the first time in your life, you stopped thinking, because everything you wanted is now right in front of your face. And when you stop thinking, and you become what is called mindful, then you are in absolute control. I said, look, your life could suck every day until you met this person, and then heaven. And 24 hours later, you can experience heaven. And what was the difference? You stopped thinking and started being present. And so it becomes important, if you want to transform, then you stay present and you repeat what you like, and repetition is what will reprogram your subconscious. So as long as you stop the old talk, put in what you want, and repeat what you want, you have an opportunity to rewrite any program in your life. The two minds, conscious and subconscious, have different functions. Conscious mind is creative, primarily. Subconscious mind is habitual, primarily. The problem is, subconscious mind is the habit mind. And habits do not change easily for great benefit. For example, when did you learn how to walk? Most everyone have learned how to walk before 2. Did you have to relearn how to walk? Hopefully not. I say, well, you could be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 plus years, and you're still using the habit program. So the emphasis on subconscious is not to change easily, because if it does, then habits don't exist. So the issue is, then how can you change the subconscious mind? And there are 2 fundamental ways, because the first, these are natural ways. How did you learn in the first 7 years? Hypnosis. So auto-hypnosis is a way of putting in a new program and transforming your life.